Fira, a mid-level fire spell used in games. What would happen to society, to the world even, if this spell was real? I'm Seth, and this is Magic in Reality. To understand Fira, we first need to understand the rules of magic. In the game, magic isn't something you're born with. Instead, it's harnessed through Materia, small orbs of condensed Mako energy drawn from the planet's life stream. It's this energy that allows characters to cast spells like Fira, conjuring flames out of thin air and shaping them into devastating attacks. But in reality, could something like Fira actually exist? To answer that, we need to take a detour into science, and maybe even philosophy. Let's start with the basics. Fira is described as a mid-level fire spell. Visually, it resembles a fiery sphere that explodes on impact. So, what would it take to recreate that in the real world? To generate flames that intense, you'd need temperatures of around 1,500 degrees Celsius, similar to molten lava. The science behind creating a controlled ball of fire, that's a little trickier. Fire is, after all, just a chemical reaction, a rapid combination of oxygen and fuel. Without containment, it's chaotic and spreads unpredictably. A fireball like Fira would require plasma, a high-energy state of matter where gas becomes electrically charged. And while we can create plasma in labs or through lightning strikes, the amount of energy needed is staggering. Think about it. To generate a single Fira spell, you'd need the same energy output as a small power plant. And that's assuming you can even control the plasma long enough to aim it, which brings us to another problem. How do you keep it stable? Realistically, the closest we've gotten to Fira is through controlled pyrotechnics or military-grade flamethrowers. But those are tools, not spells. And unlike in Final Fantasy, there's no materia to channel the energy for us. So, the science of Fira? It's not impossible, but it's a logistical nightmare. Now let's imagine for a moment that Fira did exist. What would that mean for the world? First off, we'd need some serious regulations. A spell like Fira could level buildings or start wildfires with just one miscast. Governments would likely treat magic as a weapon similar to firearms or explosives. Entire industries would emerge around magical training, containment systems, and of course magical insurance policies. On a societal level, magic would probably widen the gap between the haves and have-nots. Those with access to materia or the ability to use magic could dominate industries like construction, warfare, and even energy production. Meanwhile, the rest of us would be left dealing with the consequences of magical pollution, a not-so-subtle nod to the environmental themes in Final Fantasy VII. And what about individuals? If casting Fira drained your life force like it does in the game, would people even use it casually? The cost of power might make magic less of a blessing and more of a curse. While the science might not fully support a real-life Fira spell just yet, the idea of wielding magic will always ignite our imaginations. Games like Final Fantasy VII remind us of the power and responsibility that comes with harnessing forces beyond our control. So what do you think? If Fira existed, how would you use it? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the magic of games. Until next time, I'm Seth, and this has been Magic in Reality.